All right, here's an intro video for a really special property. This is one of the largest tracts we've ever had, and it's definitely the largest tract with direct frontage on a river. This 60 acres has 60.18 acres, sorry, has direct frontage on the Niangua River along its east side. Um, One of the most popular rivers in the Ozarks, and this happens to be in the White Ribbon trout fishing section of the Niangua River. There's just a 12-mile stretch downriver from Bennett Springs State Park that's designated specifically as a white ribbon trout fishing for rainbow trout and for brown trout. That's where this property is. So super special tract. Let's take a quick look at it here. We'll try to keep this somewhat short, but I mean there is a lot to see. So as we jump right in, actually, why don't we're going to start by zooming out a little bit to kind of show you where this is. Okay, we zoomed way out. All right, so over here to the southeast, we've got Lebanon, Missouri. So that's, I have 15 or 20 miles from the property. To get to the property from Lebanon, you just go west on Highway 64. You'll go through Bennett Springs State Park. That's where the fish hatchery is, where they raise the rainbow and brown trout and stock that section of the river. Um, so you'll actually go west. You'll go over the Niangua River, and then you'll go, I think, 3-4 miles, and you're going to go north onto Corkery Road. If you follow the signs for the NRO Resort, this actually borders the NRO Resort. So all you have to do is follow the signs for that, and you'll be at the property. Okay, so here we go. Here's Corkery Road. Go north off of 64. So if you're coming from Lebanon, you'll take a right, and you go, I think it's just about a mile or two. And basically, as soon as you get past NRO Resort, you will see the property. And we'll switch to aerial map to show you that. Okay, so here's NRO. They're kind of a main one for camping and river and whatnot. And they basically come right up to the south line of the property. So you'll take Corkery, stay left at the road, and once you pass the resort, you'll begin to see the property on the right. You'll see this little bump in the road, so you'll know you'll know you're there. It has about 600 feet of frontage on Corkery, which is a paved road. Power is right there on the west side of Corkery, I believe, so it's super close. I'm sure it's at the NRO Resort here as well. So yeah, it does border the resort, but I mean, it's a huge property, so it's not like you've only got a quarter acre and you're right up against the buildings on the resort. You got a big buffer zone here with trees and timber. Excuse me, and the property itself is gigantic. So I mean, you can be right there in civilization and still have your completely private property. Another thing that one of the guys in the office mentioned was if you wanted to, you could rent a cabin or a little campsite at NRO and stay out there for a week and just go mess around on your property every day and come back at night to, water and all that stuff at NRO Resort while you're out there using your property. Could be ideal for hunting as well, to maybe stay at the resort and hunt the property. The hunting in this area is fantastic. White-tailed deer and turkey as well. On a huge property like this, you're going to do really well. Now, like I mentioned before, the east side of the property does border the Niangua River, which is great, and this is a great section, and it's got over about 100 feet of frontage, but it's very steep down to the river. Basically a bluff, not quite a bluff, but extremely steep. I mean, we were able to walk down there, but you kind of had to go from tree to tree and hold on. Okay, so this is, whoops. This is overlooking the river, and then as you go down, this is quite steep, right down to the water. But I mean, this levels out down here, so once you get down there, it's kind of interesting, and it's a beautiful section of river. The fishing is unbelievable. Let's zoom out a little bit. We'll look at a topo map. The property is basically all wooded. A lot of mature timber. We haven't walked the whole property. We've only walked a little bit of it, but I mean, we found a creek bed. We found some monster timber. We found cool rock formations. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. River views, obviously, from the bluff overlooking the river. Topo map is helpful here. So the topo shows here on the west side on Corkery, the road itself is fairly level. Over here on the north side of the frontage, you've got a nice ridge that goes in, drops down very gently down to this little creek bed. And if you look in the listing, I think we have a short video of this creek bed, which is pretty cool. It was running when we were out there. Then you go back up, and you've actually got a huge level area. Let's see if I can move this. There we go. You've got a huge level area here in the middle. I don't know how big it is, but it looks to be close to 10 acres in size. It's enormous. As you keep going east, we drop down again into another little creek bed. And then actually you've got a level area over here. And here on the eastern side, you go up to the ridge overlooking the river and then down to the river. So the lines on this topo map indicate elevation changes of 20 feet. So if you look here to zoom in on the riverfront, from this high point overlooking the river, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 lines. So a good 150 feet above the water here. So you're going to have a great view. You're going to be out of the flood zone. I mean, it's got a lot going for it. This is priced at a fraction of what other riverfront is on the Niangua, if you can find it. Very little ever hits the market in the White Ribbon section of the Niangua River. So if you can find it, it's extremely expensive. We think this is an unbelievably low price for property on the White Ribbon section, for property on any named river, but specifically, the best section of one of the best rivers in the whole state of Missouri. This is pretty awesome. So it's kind of priced without the river frontage, and that's your bonus. I mean, if you want to do some kind of walkway leading down there, if you just want to have the river view, or what you want to do is up to you. Potentially, if you had a big piece of equipment, I mean, we've seen people put roads in worse places than that. So I mean, you'd have to do some kind of switchback, going diagonally down the hill, but it could be done. It would cost you a few bucks, but man, the payoff could be well worth it. Pretty awesome property. Rarely, if ever, do we have anything this big, and certainly not on any type of river, let alone the trout fishing section. I mean, people come from all over the nation to fish for trout in this 12-mile stretch. So this is pretty fantastic. We might as well quickly zoom in on the timber here, because that's another good thing. And you'll find some really nice timber on this property. Feel free to come on out and check it out, by the way. Bring your four-wheeler, bring your side-by-side. Just come on out and see what you can see. But I mean, you're going to find a mixture of all different types of timber. We found some monstrous trees when we were on the property. I'm trying to remember where we walked. It was somewhere toward the center. We just stumbled into an area that was just seemed like a huge number of very big hardwood trees. By the way, after the property's been paid for in full, you can log it, you can cut the timber, you can do what you like with the timber, but that's after the property's been paid for in full. While you're making payments to us on the property, you cannot log it. We do, if you contact us first and get written permission, we do generally allow trees to be taken out for driveways, or to improve or maintain trails, or for building sites. But you need to contact us first, mark the trees you want to remove, and then we'll send a guy out to come take a look. And just about every single time, we're happy to give written permission for situations like that. But otherwise, I mean, once you pay it off, or if you go get a loan through your bank, or we've had people get credit card advances to pay off property, then you can go ahead and do whatever you like with the timber at that point. And there's a lot of good timber on this one. So yeah, pretty unique property. We could talk about this actually before we go, just because it's really cool. If you go to the north, just about a mile on Corkery Road, you've got the Barclay Conservation Area. And that's about 400 acres of land that's open to the public for hunting, for recreation. And there is at least one very, very good access point to the river that we've personally used several times. And I mean, it's literally like 2 minutes from the property. Totally free public access point. They've got a great parking area, and then they actually got a boat ramp and a big gravel beach area. You can fish there. You can put in your canoe or your kayak, and you can actually float down to another conservation type area, which is only about 5 miles downstream. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, the Prosperine access. So I mean, you've got a lot of cool stuff you can do around here. So 60 acres, big property, standard property covenants in place, nothing too restrictive, we don't think at all. Check out the listing. Basically, I mean, you can hunt, you can camp up to 45 days in a 12-month period. You can build without permits. But your home or cabin has to be 600 square feet on a concrete foundation, minimum size. So basically, any type of standard home or cabin you're going to build, you're going to be fine if you stay within those guidelines. But any questions, let us know. Someone's going to get a really, really nice property here. InstantAcres.com is where you can go to check and see if this is still available. We do leave all our videos on YouTube because the buyers request that we do that so they can keep viewing them and share them. So with that being said, just go to InstantAcres.com. If you have any questions, let us know. We would love to talk to you.